we have our St. Louis style ribs here. And these are my favorite type of ribs because unlike baby backs where there's very little meat and the spare ribs where there's all that cartilage involved, you don't have any of that with these spare ribs. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and get these seasoned up and get them thrown on the smoker. So today I'm gonna go ahead and use up that mayo as my binder. It gives it that extra rich flavor, keeps it nice and moist so the stick adheres to it. Always start on the back side. So just get a nice coat on. A little bit more. Use your hand and just kind of rub that mayo on in there. You're not going to taste this in the final bites that you do take. Again, this is just to make the rub adhere and to help keep it moist so the smoke penetrates the meat. All right, next I'm going to hit it with that kosher salt. Some black pepper. And today we're using that Jack Daniel's pork rub. So give it a nice, generous coating of your rub. Let's get these flipped over and just repeat the process. Now we're ready to go outside to the smoker. All right, we got our smoker fired up. We're running at 225 today, and we're gonna keep that temp until we get a nice bark formed on these St. Louis style ribs. I'm also running with some apple wood smoked pellets from Louisiana Grills. These pellets are amazing. I suggest if you can find them, give them a try. You'll really like them. They give you that extra flavor. They burn really well in my Traeger here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get these ribs on the smoker. All right, we got our ribs on the smoker here. You want to go with the bone side down. Let them roll probably for a couple of hours before we check on them. Maybe give them a spritz or two with some apple cider vinegar after about an hour. But let's let these guys roll and see what they look like in an hour. All right, so we've been rolling for an hour at about 225. Let's go ahead and take a peek to see how we're looking. Ooh, these are looking and smelling super delicious here. See a few dry spots on these ribs, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna hit them up with some apple cider vinegar. It's a nice little spray on these to moisten them up so we can form a nice bark and not dry out the top of the meat here. All right, now that we're all spritzed up, let's just go ahead and close this on down, and we'll check again in another hour to see how we're doing. Right, so we got a nice bark formed on our ribs here. I'm really liking what I'm seeing. Let's see what kind of temp we're running at. Running about 138 degrees or so, which is pretty optimal to get these in and wrapped. I like to usually get them wrapped at about 140, 145. So we'll let these go for just a couple more minutes and then I'll see you inside. All right, as you can see, we got our ribs inside. They've got a nice bark formed on them. Now it's time to get them wrapped up and make them super juicy. And the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put down a layer of brown sugar. About 4 tablespoons there, and just kind of spread it all over your tin foil. And then we're gonna make a little mixture of some apple cider vinegar and some of our Jack Daniel's sweet and spicy barbecue sauce. Go about half and half to start it out. And then just stir it up until that barbecue sauce is thinned out. There's something about like that as far as consistency goes. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drizzle some of this right on top of the brown sugar. Just like so. And then we're gonna get ourselves some butter. Let's do about a half a stick on the bottom and about a half a stick on the top. Alright. And then I'm gonna come in with some of our cold smoked jalapeno honey. And give that a nice drizzle. Honey for the money is what they say. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take one rack of our ribs and we're going to go meat side down. And then we're just going to repeat the same process on the top side or on the bone side.
Just have some brown sugar. About another 4 tablespoons. And spread it out across your rib. Drizzle on your Jack Daniel's and apple cider vinegar sauce. Come in with your other half a stick of butter. Top it off with some of that honey.
And then we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. How I like to do this is fold over one side first. And you're going to want to fold over the other side. Get it nice and tight. And then on the ends here, what I like to do is I like to fold in about a triangle on each side here. And then just kind of fold it on over. About 4 or 5 times. And then bring it up so nothing leaks out the end. So the other side again. A little bit more, so let's fold that in there. Fold that in. And then just roll the ends on up. And bring a tad bit over the top, and that should keep anything from spilling out. So there you go, there's a rack of ribs in there waiting to go back on the smoker. Now I'm just gonna finish up this last one here and then I'll meet you back out. All right, so we're back out here at the smoker. We got our ribs all wrapped up. I turned that smoker up to 250. So now all we wanna do is get our ribs on, and this time we're going meat side down. And this is just gonna let that meat sit there and marinate in all of the juices. We're gonna let this roll for approximately another couple of hours, come back out and check on it in the temp and see how we're doing. All right, it's been about an hour and 45 minutes. Checked these a few times. We're hitting that 201, 202, 203 degree mark. So now it's time to take these St. Louis style ribs inside and we're gonna go ahead and get a nice little glaze on them. See you inside in a minute. Our St. Louis style ribs have been in the foil for about an hour and 45 minutes. They reached a temperature of 203 degrees. Now it's time to take a look and see how we did here. Let all that steam out. Got a little bit of, obviously, some juice built up on the bottom, so I want that to run out over on that corner. Let's get this side. Ooh, would you look at that? Oh boy. These are super tender. I have a feeling that they're just gonna, see, the bones are already falling out. Don't even have to do anything. The bones are already falling out. So now, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put these on a different rack over here, a different pan. Pull them out, get them out of all those juices, and put them on this different pan. And let's take a look at this other one over here. Let's see what we got to work with. Ooh, look at that. This one had a few extra jalapenos from the honey on it. We're just gonna take this here, throw it over on our other tray. Just like so. We're gonna get this tray here out of the way, let it cool down, let all these grease turn into a solid so we can get rid of it. So there we go. There is our rack of ribs. Last thing we're gonna do, so we're gonna get some apple honey habanero glaze rubbed into these, and then we're gonna take them outside and let that glaze up for 10 minutes on the smoker, and then we'll bring them in, let them rest in it for about 10-15 minutes, and then it'll be time to eat. So I will see you back here once this glaze has thickened up on the smoker. St. Louis style ribs are done. Look at the pullback on the bones there. Nice and glazed over. Now it's time to get them chopped up and in our bellies. All right, let's take a look at one here. Let's see how she turned out. Would you look at that? Nice and juicy. Don't even have to squeeze it. This thing is dripping. Got a nice smoke ring on it. Now it's time for that famous taste test. See how we did. Look at that. No meat left on that bone at all. That's exactly what you're looking for. You got that sweet flavoring with that brown sugar. I could taste the apple in there. A little kick of spice with that habanero or that jalapeno honey. 10 out of 10. I don't think you can really do much better than this. So this is my way to make the best St. Louis style ribs you'll ever eat. Give it a try.